So, reading from 3rd canto, 32nd chapter and 24th verse. I've just randomly selected one verse from the Bhagavatam that emphasizes on the qualities of very advanced devotee. So, this is just one of the verses amongst the many verses that we have in the Bhagavatam. And there are other verses also, but they have long purpose. So, I decided that I can continue with this. It can do some justice to today's class also. Okay. I will share on screen. Right. यदस्य चित्तम् अर्थेषु समेष्वेन्द्रियवृत्तिभिः न विघ्नाति वैषम्यं प्रियम् अप्रियम् इति उत. Synonyms: yada, when, asya, of the devotee, chittam, the mind, artheshu, in the sense objects, sameshu, same, indriya vrittibi, by the activities of the senses, not, vignati, thus perceive, samyam, difference, priyam, agreeable, apriyam, not agreeable, thus, certainly.
Excuse me, Prabhuji, can you speak a little louder? Thank you.
Okay. Translation: the exalted devotee's mind becomes
her access levels upon his return.
Equipoised in sensory activities, and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The significance of advancement in transcendental knowledge and detachment from material attraction is exhibited in the personality of highly advanced devotee. For him, there is nothing agreeable or disagreeable because he does not act in any way for his personal sense gratification. Whatever he does, whatever he thinks, is for the satisfaction of the personality of Godhead, either in the material world or in the spiritual world. His equipoised mind is completely manifested. He can understand that in the material world there is nothing good. Everything is bad due to its being contaminated by material nature. The materialist conclusions of good and bad, moral and immoral, etc., are simply mental concoction or sentiment. Actually, there is nothing good in the material world. In the spiritual field, everything is absolutely good. There is no impropriety in the spiritual activities. Because a devotee accepts everything in spiritual vision, he is equipoised. That is a symptom of his being elevated to the transcendental position. He automatically attains detachment, vairagya, then gyan, knowledge, and then actual transcendental knowledge. The conclusion is that an advanced devotee dovetails himself with the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and in that sense he becomes qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of God. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjalaşaraya Çakşurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namah. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Chacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Chatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all the devotees for giving me opportunity to serve you all, and I will be continuing from the last class. It's I think a very interesting class. I think you may not have heard this kind of class before because this is not something which is regularly discussed. But I felt that it's very important for all the devotees. They must have some kind of background and knowledge about these topics, because what is the meaning of advanced Vaishnavas, from whom to hear, these are all very crucial matters in spirituality. And it also helps us to sufficiently glorify all these exalted Vaishnavas, even though they may be in the background and they are not in the forefront. So there are so many devotees who are probably they are not advanced, but they are in the forefront. They have become so popular that they are more popular than their gurus also. But they are in the forefront, and Okay, so I just got a message that my voice is very low. Are you able to hear all of you, or just one of you?
Just one of you. Prabhuji, we can hear you. Can you just speak louder a little bit?
Acha.
Acha.
Okay. Are you able to hear now?
Yeah, your voice is fine, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So this is very important subject matter, and we should not minimize the position of these exalted Vaishnavas just because there are very popular devotees, and they are very famous also. It does not mean that they are to be worshipped like the other truly advanced Vaishnavas. And this is also important because in the etiquette, which is given by Narari Sarkar, and he's eternal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the book name is Krishna Varnamrit. I would strongly suggest every devotee to read the book because it has got very fine nuances of Guru Tattva. It's very easy to understand Guru Tattva through that book. And in that book, he has explained all these etiquettes, how we are supposed to treat our Gurujan, how we are supposed to treat other devotees, how we are supposed to treat devotees who are probably more advanced than our own gurus, how to treat devotees who are the guru and param guru of our gurus. So all these etiquettes are very nicely depicted in Krishna Varnamrit. From that we can understand, and it also mentions that, see, um, generally guru, people think guru is basically the Diksha Guru, but it is very surprising and very interesting to note that actually Guru means Siksha Guru. Generally, it refers to Siksha Guru in the scriptures because nowhere in the scripture it does mention about the Diksha mantras that are bestowed to a disciple and then the disciple is having instructions from the Guru. The scriptures continuously, it only talks about that a disciple is supposed, or a devotee or a sadhaka is supposed to take instruction from a superior or some of person who is of realized knowledge. So it does not mention anything about the Diksha Guru. The Diksha Guru is a one who only gives the Diksha mantras. And in our Sampradaya, if you see ISKCON or Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is also Siksha Sampradaya. It is not a Diksha Sampradaya. So the emphasis has to be placed on the Siksha, not on the Diksha. And the you see in our very immediate parampara, we'll see that Prabhupada took from Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur took from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, and these three are in Diksha line. Obviously, the Siksha is also there. And then you'll see Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, we have Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not connected with Diksha. He's connected with Siksha. And then after that, we have Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we have Jagannath Das Babaji, again not connected with Diksha. So there is a discrepancy if you see in terms of Diksha. But through Siksha, the parampara is perfectly fine because all of them, they have taken Siksha from these gurus. So anyways, but we'll not get into the details of this. I think we have already discussed, we have covered this class earlier. So coming to the point of from the previous class, what I want to share is that there are devotees who have different services in according to their inclination. They will select different services, or they may have services which is given to them by their authorities. So devotees, some devotees may be expert in one service, but they may not be expert in another service, right? And so that's why when we talk about the popular devotees, they may be popular because of their oration, because of their personality or whatever it is. They may be expert in a particular area, or they may be very expert in presenting Krishna consciousness. So that is their, I mean, we definitely appreciate their service because they are also rendering service. It's one of the services that they are most inclined. They're doing that. And but then the other devotees, they are doing so many different services. Someone is doing book distribution, someone is cleaning the temple, someone is worshipping the deities, someone is distributing prasadam. So some may be expert in management, right? Like we have great example, starboard example of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, who was an expert manager also, and because of his leadership, ISKCON was able to get so many temples throughout India and different parts of the world also. I mean, Maharaj was definitely multi-talented personality. That's another thing, and I feel that he was definitely Prabhupada's associate. Came down with Prabhupada because it's not so easy. It's kind of impossible to achieve so many things, and the same um, thought even His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj also shared in his offering to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, that it is impossible for anyone to achieve this kind of feat. So we have devotees who are multi-talented also. Like another example I can think of is Gaurang Prabhu also. He's expert in many areas, cooking, or he's also the GBC. He's also into management. Then he has done all types of services, and even Prabhupada disciples also. They have done so many services. They have done so much for Prabhupada. So all out of all these services, a devotee may be expert in a particular area, and then he can nourish and he can cultivate that service as a eternal connection with the Lord. So although one may do one service which is focused on a long-term basis, which they like to do, but at the same time they also do other services depending on the need, time, place, circumstance. And that's why I think it is very important, because see, there are so many devotees in the background who are doing wonderful services. We don't even know about that. And more than the external service, what actually is really important is the bhav, right? Because Krishna is bhav, right? And he's also sal, right? So he extracts the essence of the service, the intention of the service. So in what mood you are doing, if your consciousness is entirely selfless, you just want to please the Lord and the devotees, you just want to serve, your entire life is sacrificed for that, then these devotees are exalted Vaishnavas. They are extremely advanced Vaishnavas. But the only problem is that we don't see them in the forefront, because generally the speakers, they are getting, and because they are now, we have this online media platform, it has grown to a great extent. So we see that devotees who speak, who are expert in speaking, they are the ones who generally become popular with time. So yeah, I mean, we can learn from them, we appreciate their service, but it is not necessary to worship them and offer them the same standard of worship as the truly advanced Vaishnavas. Okay, that is very important. And another important point is that whenever your Gurujan, one of your Gurujan, maybe Diksha or Siksha Guru, if they are in your locality, and if there's a popular Vaishnava who's also there in the same temple, and they are giving class, if there's a conflict, then it is very important for the disciples to actually hear from their own Gurujan rather than giving priority to, so they may be wonderful speakers, but it does not mean, because see, there may be, like, there are materialistic people who are great speakers, but what is the effect of their speaking? They like, we have so many people who also promote spirituality, but what is the effect of their speaking? Because there is no potency, there is no purity. So it's only the purity which is going to be transferred, and it is going to transform others. Okay, this is something that we need to understand. We are not seeking information, we seek transformation. This is spiritual life. So information you may gather from different sources. You may yourself become expert in information. If you read Prabhupada books, if you read books of acharyas, you will get all the knowledge at one place. You don't even have to hear from anyone, because what all these speakers they are doing, they are just, as it is, they are passing down the message of the acharyas. It's not that something that the Lord has made them realized. It is revealed to them. It's something different from what the acharyas are saying. Everything is actually copy pasted from the acharyas. So definitely our way of presentation is a unique thing. It's an individuality, but what we need to understand is that the problem is that we have not studied the books of the acharyas. We have not studied, and maybe we have not heard from our own Gurujan. That's why we think that the information that we are receiving from these popular devotees, it's very, oh, so unique and so nice, and such a thing I have never heard before. But these things are okay. You may get information. It does not mean that you become transformed by that information. So the transformation effect of that will only happen when there is a transference of potency from your guru to the disciple. So purity is something, and obviously I don't deny that the popular devotees may not be pure. They may also be pure, and they may also be advanced. There is, we have to, but how to know whether they are really advanced? This is the question. So one should definitely appreciate service of all the devotees who are selflessly serving Srila Prabhupada, other Vaishnavas, and we can also learn from others. But it does not mean that those only who are speaking in the forefront, they are only advanced. Okay, and now last class I had given some, I had shared some details about how to understand who is truly advanced, and I did mention a point that the qualities and the characteristics of advanced devotees, like for example from this Bhagavatam verse also in the purport, Prabhupada says that the pure devotees, they have nothing agreeable or disagreeable, so they are willing to do anything for the service of the Lord. It's not that they only do something that they like to do, but they will take up services and challenges and anxiety for the service of their guru to a great extent. And then we have seen the life of Gopal Krishna Maharaj also, that what not he did for Prabhupada. And even though he did not like many things, but as a responsibility and duty towards Prabhupada to please him, he took up so many challenges and anxieties to protect ISKCON from outside elements also. So it's a big service actually. And these are truly advanced Vaishnavas. And then you see their behavior also. And their behavior is not a one-time, it's a first-time impression thing. It's a consistent behavior. You will see that they are always humble throughout their lives. Right from the beginning till they pass away from the material world, you'll see whenever you interact with them, you'll see consistency in them. So it's not the case with the other devotees who have not yet become liberated or become sufficiently purified. Right now in Gauri also we see this similar thing where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to, there are so many associates of Mahaprabhu who are Nitya Siddhas, they were eternal associates, and Mahaprabhu used to single out them, and then he used to glorify a certain quality of theirs. Like for example, Namacharya Haridas Thakur. So he was glorified for chanting the holy name constantly. It does not mean Rupa Goswami was less than Namacharya Haridas Thakur in terms of chanting the name, right? Rupa Goswami is Rup Manjari. He is actually the incarnation of Radharani's heart. So he is actually the greatest Vaishnava in our parampara. He is the leader of Gaudiya Vaishnava parampara. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's direct disciple. Does not mean that Rupa Goswami was chanting any less than Namacharya Haridas Thakur. But there are certain qualities of a devotees which are emphasized and glorified because they gave their life for that particular limb of bhakti. So Haridas Thakur's focus was basically chanting the holy name. Whereas Rupa Goswami and the Goswamis of Vrindavan, Mahaprabhu had given them instructions, 6 different instructions. They had given temple building, then book writing, and so many other things, discovering the deities, and then discovering the forest of Vrindavan. And they did all these services also, and they were humility personified, simplicity personified, right? So, like so we have so many examples: Ramananda Rai, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Gadadhar Pandit, Vakreshwar Pandit, Murari Gupta, Murari, like Vasudev Dutt. So Vasudev Dutt, who is Vasudev Dutt? Basically, he is actually the avatar of Prahlad Maharaj, because he prayed for the deliverer of the entire universe. He is willing to go to hell for eternity. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that I reside in the heart of Vasudev, and he can sell me anywhere he wants to, right? So he did not say this for many other devotees. And then for Vakreshwar Pandit, Mahaprabhu said that I constantly reside in the heart of Vakreshwar Pandit. So Mahaprabhu glorified devotees in unique ways, but it did not mean that some, just because he glorified someone uniquely, did not mean that they became more advanced than others. What it meant is that Mahaprabhu actually glorified their connection with a particular limb of bhakti. So now the problem starts, because see, the problem is, and I will also share a very practical example just recently which I experienced. See, I will tell you that because I have written a book, and I was on a book promotion tour for a couple of months I did, and I've come across these popular speakers also, popular YouTube influencers, and I would say that out of all these speakers, very few, they're truly, really very gentle Vaishnavas. And the others, I felt they are nowhere close to their guru. So this interaction, see, because the interaction is not just a first time interaction with them, it's an interaction on a regular basis, long term basis, because when you approach them for book promotion, so right from that beginning point till the point the book is actually really promoted. So I'm in touch with these devotees, and I've experienced that actually they are nowhere close to their guru in terms of reciprocation, in terms of behavior, in terms of interaction. So much to learn actually. So definitely one thing is there, that the behavior of their guru Maharaj and the disciple, there is a lot of difference, and there are many things that one has to learn also. It is not just about speaking, it is not just about helping someone, it is also about how to interact with someone. It is also about how selflessly you're trying to help others, what is your motivation, how much priority you give to others. All these things matter a lot. So these are all qualities of advanced Vaishnavas. You see, even in the life of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he went to great extent and sacrificed his health and everything just to serve devotees. So, no, so selflessly, like his life is basically meant for others only. And whenever there is a choice between doing our service and helping others, so all these great Vaishnavas, they prioritize and they help others a lot. They sacrifice their own things. Obviously, it also depends if something is directly instructed by Prabhupada and it's a very important service, then the focus is there on following and somehow pleasing Srila Prabhupada. That's the priority, topmost priority for all the followers of Prabhupada. But whenever there is service to Vaishnavas, then that priority is always there. Yeah, so out of all these popular YouTube influencers, I felt very few. They are truly, really nice devotees. I mean, I would still say that they are nowhere close to their guru. There is a lot of difference and a lot of things to be achieved. But yeah, some are really genuine devotees, very nice devotees. And now I would like to share a practical experience. What happened? Yeah, so see, I had approached a devotee, and so I will not share any information. If you want, maybe later on personally we can discuss about it. But I approached this devotee, and for book promotion, I also met this devotee, and it seemed he was very nice, very gentle. The dealings and everything was very good. But then, what I've experienced earlier is that the first meeting may be nice, but then they keep you waiting also for a long time. So I experienced that, which is okay, like it does not matter so much for me personally. But then just recently, you are aware that it was about Radhakund's appearance, Chaitra Purnima. So the 23rd of April observed in India. And so this devotee was in Vrindavan, and because I developed some relationship with him, so I just wanted to know, when is Radhakund appearance celebrated in Vrindavan, whether it was on 23rd April or 24th. Just wanted to clarify it. So my question was about 23rd and 24th of April. When I asked this devotee, now this devotee, I just want to give some background. So this devotee, he is, you can say maybe, I mean, he's associated with ISKCON, but I would say he's not exactly in ISKCON. and his Shiksha Guru is basically Narayan Maharaj disciple, who is from Gaudiya Math. You have heard about him or you're familiar. So what happened is I asked him about the technical difference of the dates, 23rd, 24th, but he gave me a different answer. And I asked him, whether you can ask your Shiksha Guru about this and you can just clarify to me. So he said that, instead of answering my question, he gave me some different answer. And he said that, Prabhuji, you know, recently everyone has been following Radha Kund's appearance on Bahulastami Day, but this sudden change is there now. So I don't know why it happened, but now it is like this. So I replied him that, yeah, I understand, and I told him that the GBC, they are aware of this, and I rely and I have faith in the GBC. Whatever they have done is quite accurate in terms of the date and the time. And I told him that Srila Jeev Goswami they are following the standard by Srila Jeev Goswami. So, so he did not answer my question basically. He just gave me a different answer. I replied to him because I sensed some kind of minimizing of position of our ISKCON devotees. I just felt like that initially. And then later on it got confirmed because then after one day he replied, he said that, these things are within the purview of acharyas. And currently ISKCON is making decisions through the body of the GBC. And then he told, which is basically consisting of ordinary sadhakas. So I got very upset. I got a bit aggressive also. And, because GBC has my Guru Maharaj on board. It's got Gopal Krishna Maharaj on board. It's got Jai Pataka Maharaj. It's got Shivram Maharaj. Bhanu Maharaj. All my Gurujan are there. And then maybe your Gurujan also. So I got upset with that because he told me that, this is something that Srila Prabhupada knew about it and Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur knew about it. So how can a body of ordinary sadhakas change this? So I replied him and I also discussed this with one of my Shiksha Gurus, not about his comment, but about specifically about whether Prabhupada knew about Radhakund's appearance and whether they observed it when Prabhupada was present. So it was Prabhupada, it was Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur who knew about it, but they never changed it. Now, this is what he said, that they knew about it, but they did not change it. And I asked my Shiksha Guru, who is also Prabhupada disciple, and he told that we were not just aware because we were only focused on preaching by Prabhupada, and Prabhupada also never bothered to give us. So I think the earlier days, Prabhupada did not mention about Radhakund appearance, or even he also brought about the shifting of Lalita Sashti. So we know that Lalita Sashti was observed one day before, like 2 days before Radha Ashtami, and now GBC has moved it. I mean, they have completely removed it. Actually, Rupa Goswami in God Ganesh Deepika says that Lalita Devi, she is 27 days elder than Srimati Radharani. So considering 27 days, almost a month before Radharani's appearance. So in order to avoid any kind of controversy, the GBC actually decided to remove Lalita Sashti observance. And they also got to know that Lalita Sashti is basically a local festival in Bengal where they worship Lalita Devi, who is actually the incarnation of Durga Mata. So that's how they removed that. But we see that in Braj, in Barsana, and especially in Lalita Sakhi's village, they observe during Lalita Sashti day, which is basically 2 days prior to Radharani's appearance. So there are, some Brajvasis also do, they observe Radhakund appearance on Bahulastami day. And I think Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because Radhakund area is, I think, majorly occupied by Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So they I think they do it on Chaitra Purnima because Jeev Goswami did that. So, I also told him that it's also possible due to Kalpa Bhed. But when he told me about this comment that the GBC is a body of ordinary sadhakas, so then I took him in a loop. So I started asking questions that, okay, so you are saying that GBC is body of ordinary sadhakas. So who all? Can you tell me who all? So then he said, majority of them, most of them. So then I started questioning him very aggressively, and he realized that I was a bit upset. So then he messaged me that that actually we should not deal like this. We should not interact with like this because we are in a family of Gaudiya Vaishnavas and we should have humble dealings with each other and we are like a family and So I said, well, you actually started the aggressive. I mean, I questioned him that okay, if you're saying that the GBC is ordinary sadhakas, then someone can say that your Shiksha Guru is also ordinary sadhaka. Do you believe that? And he immediately said that no, he's not an ordinary sadhaka. So I said that that's relative. You may think like that, but I may feel or someone else may feel he's not. He is also probably ordinary sadhaka. So then finally, this message he wrote that we are like a family and all. I said, what you're talking about a family? Family means you appreciate others, and you and first of all, who are we to judge anyone? Prabhupada disciples, they were surrendered to Prabhupada. They did everything for Prabhupada. And Prabhupada is the one to decide who is who. Guru and Krishna are the ones who to decide all these things. Why are we, discussing? You may disagree with them. You may not agree with their opinions or their decisions. Because what is GBC? GBC is a system of majority. In that majority, someone has to disagree. Then only it is majority. If everyone accepts everything, then there is no question of majority. So in majority, obviously someone is going to disagree and the disagreement can be there. So, but it has to be in a very Vaishnava way. It has to be done in a very humble way. We have to express our opinion and then recognizing that. And then he also brought up this point of that, Srila Prabhu, he brought up this point that even the issue of the fall down of the jiva also, it's not within the purview of the GBC to decide. When they can comment or they can write something on that, it means that they are basically ordinary sadhakas. This is what he actually gave explanation. And I think he also got some personal experience from the GBC, maybe which was a bitter experience. So I think because of his own personal grudges and his experiences, he actually kind of holistically blamed the GBC, which was, I think, was not right. I mean, I do understand, he had to undergo certain experiences, but to say the entire GBC is like ordinary sadhakas, that is definitely not right. And then finally, I told him that you talk about family, but in the family, everyone has to appreciate and respect each other. If you start being aggressive, then obviously you cannot expect others will not be aggressive. So then suddenly he realized the point and he just he apologized to me and he told me that I'm sorry, Prabhuji, please forgive me. And I do realize that the GBC members, they are not ordinary sadhakas, but they are working 24/7 to run the institution. So I just felt that why suddenly he changed his mind. Then I asked him, if you are genuinely, if you realize genuinely, then okay, that's fine. But so he messaged me that Krishna just sent me a video, and then he shared with me a video where a devotee is praising the leadership qualities of the Prabhupada disciples and the GBC, and how they are actually working 24/7 to run the institution. So he realized that, and he shared it with me. So I said, okay, it's good. And I told him that basically what we want is that we should have very good relationship with devotees, whether from within ISKCON, outside ISKCON. We respect everyone. There may be differences because Prabhupada has taught us differently than the other Vaishnavas and the other Gaudiya Sampradayas. And there will be differences, but we have to glorify each other. We have to appreciate each other. So see, this is the thing. Initially, there was a very good impression of, thinking that, oh, he's a very gentle Vaishnava, so nice, so down to earth. but you never know what is going in the mind of the devotee. It's only after prolonged association with the devotees you will actually understand what they are. Okay, it's because see, we are sadhakas, as I shared earlier also in the last class, that you make it till you fake it till you make it. So this is how it works, because we don't have these qualities, 26 qualities of a devotees, or we are not humble, we are not tolerant, we don't have these natural qualities in us. That's why we try to fake it. Fake it means that we try to practice it. Okay, and this is what our acharyas also recommend. So although it is like I'm saying it to fake it, but it's a practice. So you practice it, and what we observe is that so many times, multiple times, thousands of times we fail. And if someone will criticize us, if they will say something ill about us, if something unjustified thing will happen, then we'll react strongly. We'll not be able to tolerate. So there are so many tests that we take, but we fail. And that's why we are sadhakas. Okay. So one thing, don't assume just because you get first impression is not the last impression for sure in bhakti, because devotees change, people also change after time. When they get realization, they change after long, a period of time. So first impression, last impression, it only applies in a particular context, in some context, but it does not apply in all context. And that's why I had mentioned last time that in order to know who is really advanced, we have to associate with them for a good amount of time. Then only we can actually get some idea. Okay. Yeah. Now the problem, what happens is, you tend to hear from the speakers more and more because they are sharing new information every time, or they are sharing a lot of details about a particular topic, and that's why you get attracted to them and you want to hear from them. So the way to stop this is that if you really want to gather information, what you need to do is basically you have to read scriptures regularly, every day, every single day. Prabhupada wanted us to read his books. If you do this, you read the books of the acharyas also, you'll get all the information that is required. In fact, there are see, knowledge is uh, in of different categories. One kind of knowledge is that is necessary for you to go back to Godhead. That is one category of knowledge. Second category of knowledge is which is informative. Like for example, the details about Krishna's leelas, the details of the spiritual world, the details, the insights that the acharyas provide us. So these are not necessary for us to go back to spiritual world. So what knowledge is required is basically how to stop committing aparadhs, how to not offend Vaishnavas, and how not to do that. It's a knowledge. You acquire that knowledge from Guru. The Guru will train you, guide you in Krishna consciousness. That is knowledge. That knowledge is actually going to take us back to Godhead, not these other types of knowledges. Okay, so that is knowledge. And then obviously there is third category of knowledge that you require for preaching. Like for example, as a preacher, I have to make sure, and if I want to guide devotees, also train them to higher levels of Krishna consciousness, I have to make sure that I myself also get all this knowledge, understand things in the right spirit, basically in the right mood. So you may attain knowledge, you may become very scholarly, and then you may become proud, and then you may start something of your own. So that is not recommended. But you gather knowledge as a humble service for the Vaishnavas, to serve them, not judging them, not minimizing their position. If you humbly try to serve them and you appreciate that they are also rendering very important services, then knowledge is very important for a preacher, because the preacher has to, the more he has knowledge, the more he can actually share it with others, make others realize the knowledge also, right? So knowledge are in different categories, and we have to identify what knowledge actually we need to go back to Godhead. So if you acquire the knowledge yourself from devotees, you learn from them, but you do it regularly, you will not even bother about all these different things that are going on. So it's basically the influence of Kali Yuga. In the last class, we started with the words from the 12th canto, and it describes the symptoms of Kali Yuga, and we see that those people who are excellent speakers, orators, they will become popular. It is mentioned in the Bhagavatam words. This is a symptom of Kali Yuga. So we have to identify exactly. And I also shared that what is the difference between knowing that someone is truly advanced, or someone is empowered, or someone is just popular because of their karma from previous life, is that the empowered devotee or someone who is very advanced devotee, they will be surrendered to the guru, they will be humble, and they will always accept other different services also. They will give priority to Vaishnavas, their behavior is impeccable. You'll see all these different characteristics and qualities in that Vaishnava. So this is how, and the others who are only speaking, but they are not surrendered to authority, they are not surrendered to their guru, they are not nicely dealing with Vaishnavas, they are not following etiquettes. So you can understand that maybe they are continuing from their previous karmas, because they have become popular because they did something in the past. So another point of observation is that practice makes one perfect. See, there was a devotee in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. His name was Ramdas. And this Ramdas, he was constantly chanting the name of Lord Ram. So if you remember, in this particular Leela, what happened is, this is Ramdas associated with Gopal Bhatt Goswami, and then they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not even look at Ramdas. And later on, Gopal Bhatt Goswami got to know that his chanting of the holy names of Lord Ram did not attract the mercy of the Lord, because when he was serving all the people in an assembly, he was serving food to everyone. So that time, I think it was Gopal Bhatt Goswami who asked him that why do you chant the name of Lord Ram every day, so constantly, and why do you do all the menial services? So like, if Ramdas was with Gopal Bhatt Goswami, then he used to carry his luggage and whatever things he had as a menial servant. So it seemed that he was a topmost devotee, very wonderful Vaishnava, had all these qualities. But then he revealed to him that I am chanting the name of Lord Ram constantly because I want to become Lord Ram. So then Gopal Bhatt Goswami actually understood that this is the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not even glance at him. He did not give any mercy to him, because basically he was a Mayavadi at heart. So, and so there may be devotees who may be constantly chanting the holy name. They have a practice. Maybe they have a taste for it. I mean, taste also, it also depends. I mean, what is really Shudnam? Shudnam is in a completely transcendental level. It is not something which can be imitated in this material world. You may constantly murmur the name of the Lord. You may constantly chant the name of the Lord, but it does not mean that you are on Shudnam platform. I mean, you don't even have to chant the name constantly if you are at the platform of Shudnam, because just one syllable of the holy name can take you back to Godhead. So, if you practice a particular limb of bhakti, you will achieve perfection in that. It is not so difficult. Like, for example, there are devotees who have taken birth in a Vaishnava family right from the beginning of their birth. I mean, maybe like for example, I think you must be familiar and you must have heard the name of Bhakt Bhagwat. Such a small, cute, nice, wonderful devotee. So right from the beginning, and we can also make out that he's continuing from the previous life. But to memorize all the slokas, everything, it has to come from the beginning of one's birth in Krishna consciousness. So if you practice and train a person in such a way, anyone can become expert in that area. So that is not a symptom of your advancement in Krishna consciousness. The symptom of advancement is basically all these other things. So any limb of bhakti, like for example, if I want to learn harmonium, if I practice 2 hours every day, I will become expert after 5 years or something like that. So it does not mean that I have become advanced in kirtan. Kirtan is basically glorifying the Lord. So the consciousness is very important. Like if my consciousness is to attract the crowd and to prove that I am such a wonderful kirtanier, then I have missed the purpose of doing kirtan. So practice can make one perfect. We can actually do whatever, like we can become experts, like speakers also. We can memorize all these slokas if you have the determination. You must have determination to do these things. So if for many years, if I am memorizing Sanskrit slokas, then it is very easy for me to actually share with others. If I have been reading Acharya books, I have been reading Sanskrit slokas, very easy for me to share with others. It does not in any way mean that I have become very advanced in Krishna consciousness. It's just that I have practiced it and I'm just sharing with others. So similarly, book distribution is also an art. If you practice book distribution, if you learn from others and then you grasp it, you can also distribute a lot of books. But does book distribution equate to advancement? See, generally when a speaker speaks, and if he speaks very nicely, he's expert in knowledge, he's expert in Shastra, we assume that they are very advanced. Whereas if a book distributor distributes many books, does that indicate that he is very advanced? No. Why? If someone who is distributing prasadam, if he is going to distribute lakhs of prasadam every day, he's not going to be considered very advanced. So then why someone who has got a lot of knowledge is considered to be very advanced, or who is someone expert in Sanskrit or very scholarly devotee? So definitely knowledge, as I told you, that there are different categories of knowledge. Like Uttamadhikari, one of the characteristic and symptom is that devotee is thoroughly well versed in the scriptures. But that thoroughly well versed in the scripture does not mean that he shows off his knowledge. That will bring him realization, and that realization will help him to share his Krishna consciousness with others. But the devotee will never hesitate to offer any menial service to the Vaishnavas. That is the point. So one may have a lot of knowledge. That is all good. I mean, that's also a service. Different services different devotees do. But these things are also very essential. And this is how we can discriminate between an advanced Vaishnava and a popular devotee. Like, for example, our defense forces, they are actually our real heroes. They are actually in the background. They are not never in the forefront. But who is getting all the praise? All these film stars, film actors, right? I mean, what are they doing? They are not doing anything. They are enjoying life. They are earning money from their followers. They may give some good message to people if the film is good. It creates some positive impact on society. That is good. But it's not that they have joined films to do that. They have joined films to gain popularity, to gain money and all that, right? And they are gaining fame also. But the real heroes are the ones who are at the border, who are fighting for the country, right? So it's very similar scenario. Just like we have in this material world, our defense forces, in the spiritual realm, in spiritual society also, we have very advanced Vaishnavas, but they are in the background and they are not recognized. So this is what we need to understand. So we know one thing for sure, that the Guru, they are more advanced, they are more empowered by the Lord, and we can see that reflect in their behavior also. All right. So with this, I would like to conclude the discussion about identifying, discriminating between different devotees, and to give the glory to our truly advanced Vaishnavas, not confuse that. And I just wanted to make some few suggestions, especially there are some propositions that I would like to make to leaders in ISKCON. So basically, see, one of the reasons why I feel is these popular devotees gain a lot of prominence is because they are giving a lot of information and they are presenting it in a very nice way, in a relatable way, which is also nice, which is good. But there should be no overemphasis on them, or they should not be worshipped like the truly advanced Vaishnavas. That leaders, I think, they are supposed to teach to their followers in a particular temple. And majority of the devotees, they are hearing from them is because they are providing a lot of new information. So that's why I said that if leaders, they become prominent with all these information from the books of Acharyas and Prabhupada, they consider it as one of the most important services in ISKCON, then they'll be able to provide to their dependents also. And that way, they don't have to go anywhere else outside. In that same community, they will get everything. This is very important. See, the reason we are going here and there, and the reason devotees have left ISKCON also, is because in search of higher truth, in search of higher knowledge, in search of higher things, and we think that we are, ISKCON is only discussing about basic, simple things and stuff like that. But actually, ISKCON, what is Prabhupada presenting? Prabhupada is presenting the teaching of the previous acharyas, teaching of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if a devotee can properly, systematically read Prabhupada's books, understand it very nicely. Prabhupada wanted that Acharya books should be read, but after assimilating his books, not that you jump. So the leaders, if they grasp all the, whatever is the essential mood on teaching of Prabhupada, and then they read also the books of Acharyas, and then they, depending on the level of advancement of their followers or their dependents, they provide them at the right time this kind of knowledge, then I think one will not have to go anywhere else. Everything they will attain, everything they will get in one thing. Like for example, you go to a class of a devotee, and whatever he said, you already knew about it. If that is how it happens, then I think there are a lot of chances that you'll not take it so seriously and so importantly to again hear the class of that devotee, because you know that okay, whatever he's speaking, I already know that. Like, this is all given by the acharyas. Of course, hearing from Vaishnavas definitely matters also. It's very important. We may know many things, but hearing from our own Gurujan, that is what is important, most important. So, because when we hear from Guru the same thing again and again, it will actually purify us, it will transform us. So that way, knowledge may be same, but it needs to be heard repeatedly from our Gurujan. Right? And so this is what I suggest. I think, because Prabhupada also mentioned, he said that I want that my followers should read my books thoroughly, scrutinizingly, seriously, sincerely, from all angles of vision. They should come together. They should discuss my books. They should share their thoughts and all. So Prabhupada wanted that culture in ISKCON, and he also spoke about boiling the milk thoroughly. So not just with time, we should not just keep adding water in the milk, but we have to boil the milks thoroughly so that the taste of the milk will be the best. If you add water, it will spoil the milk, right? So similarly, our devotees, they have to train themselves, and I think the most important way they will be trained is by reading Prabhupada's books. This is the most important service. I would consider that the reading of Prabhupada's books and reading of the books of the previous acharyas, this is the topmost service that one can render to ISKCON. Obviously, it has to be done in a very systematic, and I think most important, the right spirit, because you can gather the knowledge, but if your mood is not right, then you may offend others, then you may become proud, you may criticize others, you may minimize others. So it needs to be done with the help of the senior devotees, in a very nice, humble way. So it is important not just to give them the knowledge, but to give them the spirit and the mood in which we have to serve devotees. That has to be regularly emphasized, the qualities of devotees. So it requires expert leaders, trainers, those who have all these kind of qualities. I think they can do justice to this. And then we'll see that no one is going to go anywhere else, because everything they will get within ISKCON only. Okay. Right. See, in fact, there is one Niranjan Maharaj had shared this long time back, maybe 2010 or something. I don't remember. But recently it was shared amongst different WhatsApp groups, and I read this particular article. And Niranjan Maharaj says that whenever I go to temple and whenever I am invited to speak, I generally do not prefer to speak in the classes for the masses, because what I've seen is there is always a tendency to appreciate the class, but then we return back to our normal lives and we don't undergo any kind of transformation. We don't take any step to transform ourselves or commit ourselves more in Krishna consciousness. So Maharaj was saying that I felt over the years this is not helping so much. So then he changed his priority, and he mentions that what I now do is I just give my time to senior devotees and I try to train them in Krishna consciousness. Very, very important point. That it's so true. It's so true. You hear from anyone. You hear from anyone. If you don't desire to transform yourself, if you don't desire to advance, no one is going to help you. Whether it is Srila Prabhupada himself will come down and he will again instruct you, or he will give a class. You hear from Mahabhagavad, pure advanced Vaishnavas. If you don't desire to enhance your Krishna consciousness, no one is going to help you in that. So basically everything at the end depends on you yourself. But Prabhupada said that the devotees, they have to fly their own plane. Ultimately, they have to fly their own plane. Although Prabhupada said that just catch hold of the ISKCON boat, and that will make you cross the ocean. Don't jump outside that boat, okay, out of the boat. Just catch hold of the boat. But Prabhupada also said that ultimately everyone has to fly their own plane. So person sitting in one flight cannot help the person sitting another flight which is in danger, right? Then they have to help themselves. So this is what is very important. Yeah, so I think very important to reflect on all these points. And yeah, I think I have shared everything. And yeah, just one last thing which I also recollected is that in another wonderful message which was shared by Bhakti Vigyan Goswami Maharaj, who is a sannyas disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So he shared in all the groups. I think you must have received this also. That one time he had a conversation with Maharaj, and he was asking Maharaj that what is the secret of advancement in bhakti? What is the most secret? And then Maharaj mentioned that that Vrindavan has seen everything. Vrindavan has seen the greatest scholars who can recite Sanskrit shlokas like anything. Vrindavan has seen so many extraordinary people who are doing austerities. Vrindavan has seen everything. But Krishna is attracted to only those who knows how to serve the Vrajvasis. And Vrajvasi means, he said, that right from the insect living in Vraj to all these people who are living in Vraj. If one serves the Vrajvasis, Vaishnavas, then everything else becomes insignificant and secondary. Okay. I just heard today when Amoglia Prabhu was glorifying Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So he mentioned this point that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur said that although Kalyug Nam Sankirtan is the Kalyug Dharma, but Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur says that that is for external people. But internally, for devotees, Vaishnava Seva is actually the Yug Dharma. So there are, like many bhakti is actually very deep. It is extremely deep. And the more you practice Krishna consciousness, the more you realize that you are far away from it, because it is completely selfless devotion for the Lord and the devotees. So, and there is nothing agreeable, disagreeable for all these Vaishnavas, because they can do anything they can sacrifice anything for the Lord's pleasure. Yeah, so with this, I would like to end the class. And if there are any comments or questions, then we can discuss now. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, all goes to Sri Prabhupada. Such a nice class reflecting upon the what we generally do is quickly judge, but those lead to offenses and also wrong conclusions. So very, very important to have the clarity and the mental map, so that we are able to navigate this challenges in a proper shastric way, as per Guru Sadhu Shastra. It's important that we get carried away by the knowledge, but knowledge is secondary. Only a path to bhakti. Krishna Tesham Gyani Nitya Eka Bhakti. So only the Gyanis, unless they have bhakti, they're in the Gnana platform. That is, they know that the spirit soul, but they don't know that they're part and parcel of Krishna. Yeah, and also like I mean, I was thinking like you rightly pointed out that the conduct is also important. The way he behaves. Yes, I mean I remember I was just thinking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela with Prakasana Saraswati in Benares. So Prakasana is a Mayavadi, so he has a large following. He has a lot of false ego, and he was definitely not taking this dancing and singing sannyasi. So telling, why are you dancing, singing? You should be reading Vedas and teaching other Vedas. So, but then how he got attracted and fell at the feet of lotus. Of course, Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in the form of a devotee, in the garb of a devotee. But then otherwise also, in that his knowledge and humility, that is, as Krishna says in the Vidya Vinaya Sampanni Brahmani Gavi Hastini. So who has Vidya? Who has real knowledge? And Krishna also says, Idam tute guhyatamam prabhakshavyanasvaya gyana vijnana sahitam. So gyan should, unless it leads to vigyan, realization, this gyan is nothing. I mean, so unless Vidya Vinaya Sampanna, so unless when somebody has real Vidya, he's realized knowledge, I mean, Gyan and Vigyan together, then he becomes Vinay, he becomes humble. So that when Prakasana Saraswati, who was having a big false ego about himself, he saw this such a knowledgeable, of course, carried knowledge and purity was palpable, and he was so humble. Sitting on that, when Prakasana Saraswati was sitting on the Vyasasana, I believe, and Mahaprabhu is sitting on the floor. So that basically moved him. So and in that, of course, Mahaprabhu is Mahaprabhu. There's no comparison. But otherwise, also, I mean, in terms of our way of understanding the level, the three levels, which of the three levels they're in. One is that knowledge, of course, and another is that the conduct, the 28 qualities of Vaishnava, whether they're carrying, and that too, especially in the trying circumstances, because easy circumstances is easy, but in the circumstances are trying, circumstances are difficult, then if those people, the person, the Vaishnava, exhibits those qualities and is steadfast with his knowledge and firm basis on Guru Sadhu Shastra, then he is beyond that Nishtha stage. He is beyond that. He is in the Asakti stage. I just wanted to just tell if you are. This is my thought that I was thinking, and class was very nice. You rightly pointed out that it's very, of course, I mean, very difficult otherwise to get Judge Vaishnava. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Vaishnava Kriya Mudra Vijnana Bujhai. So, who are we? Even the Pandit doesn't understand who real Vaishnava is in regular circumstances. And who are we? Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind association. This topic is very important because otherwise it leads to offenses. We shouldn't. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Gauri, for your comments. So, all right. Any devotees have any comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my Dharat Pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Somehow I felt after a long time I heard your class today, full class, and it was really wonderful. And just sometimes, I know the whole week we have been hearing, glorification of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Ji. And it is amazing, and I sometimes wonder that, like one of his disciples was mentioning that, when the person is alive, that time everything is kind of taken for granted. Yes, Maharaj is doing, he used to say, like, Srila Prabhupada mentioned about that Mangal Arati is very important. So one of his disciples, he mentioned, Maharaj, that it is not an option. It's not an option. Mangal Arati is not an option. It is something which, you have to attend every day. So, then his disciple, Mataji, was making sure she attends the, this thing. And I wish we could, glorify all our Guru Maharajas while they are there in the body now, because I don't know, like from a material perspective, how much, when they are there and if we meet them and we have the association, it's a total different perspective altogether. And when Maharajas are gone, of course, they are there with us, but that presence, I mean, like everything now is online, but we still want to go and associate with devotees, meet devotees, and it's a totally different aspect in life. So I just wanted to share that. And also, you were mentioning about Amog Leela Prabhuji, right? You said a line. I didn't hear the first part. Of course, I can hear the recording, but he emphasized on service. Can you just explain what he was trying to say in his glorification?
I mean, so what he was saying is, he started with the point that how Krishna Maharaj was a Vaishnava Seva Shiromani. He was like one of the best uh, devotees to serve all the other devotees. He was an exemplary example um, of serving devotees. So he was a Shiromani in that. And then he brought this point that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur said that although Yug Dharma is Nam Sankirtan in Kali Yuga, but actually this is meant for external people. But for those who are sincerely practicing, internal people who know the facts as they are, for them, they understand that Vaishnava Seva is actually the Yug Dharma. So that's how he was saying that how Maharaj uh, exemplified this principle of Vaishnava Seva in his life.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And Prabhuji, just in a few words, if you can summarize today's class, what was the main meaning you were getting across to us? I know in the beginning you talked about somehow things in the beginning and the end stick in the mind, that main is a Shiksha Guru is very, very important. And even Srila Prabhupada is everybody's Shiksha Guru. And how we can take Shiksha from his is by reading his books every day, if not morning, then evening. And actually, ideally, if we can do Bhagavad Gita reading in the morning and Bhagavatam in the morning, because our mind is fresh, it's a little bit at a higher level, and Bhagavad Gita in the evening, then, it's like almost every house can become a temple, because that's what Prabhupada wanted. And, reading his books morning and evening will be like so nice. We can convert all our homes into temple. So, yes, Prabhuji, just little bit, what is the main idea we have to follow today, and keep in mind so we can follow. Can you just summarize a little bit?
You mean summarize the class or the initial points?
Just the main take, what you want us to learn, because there's a lot of things we heard, which is the most important point, couple of important points.
So see, the main theme of the
Like-
class is it's in the topic of the class itself, which is to understand our popular devotees, scholarly devotees. See, because coming to the point of everyone, I think in India, they have natural appreciation and very high regards for Diksha Guru. But what happens is, what we see is that when these popular devotees, they come in the local temples, they may, I mean, then what happens is we also have some devotees from whom we are learning a lot of things, and we may do it regularly from them. Although there may be multiple Siksha Gurus, but technically they are called Siksha Guru when someone has taken a good amount of responsibility in your spiritual life. to train you, to guide you. It can be a lifetime responsibility, or it can be a prominent responsibility, or maybe they have affected your life or your Krishna consciousness in such a way that you feel that for lifelong they are your Shiksha Gurus. So you may not have that association, you may not hear from them so much, but they may say certain things which will affect you in such a way that their entire instruction or their entire class will be a guiding point in your life. So these devotees are the ones, generally the Shiksha Gurus, they or the devotees who are guiding you regularly, practically, subjectively in your spiritual life. They are the ones who are called as Shiksha Gurus, taking some good amount of responsibility. So not everyone is a Shiksha Guru. You may hear from someone, but you may get inspired from a person, but after some time you may not prolong your association with that devotee. So that devotee may not be called a Shiksha Guru. It can be called as a someone who inspired you for a limited time. Like for example, you go and you join Bhakti Shastra. So those devotees teach you the Shastra, but there your connection, it is up to you if you want to establish connection with them for long-term basis for guidance, or you may limit it to for the particular time period. So what I meant to say is that identify your Gurujan. You worship your Gurujan first. Give more priority to your Gurujan. Don't replace their position with the popular devotees unless you know really some popular devotees intimately. You want to establish connection with them, take guidance from them on a long time basis. Just by external oration, excellent oration, it does not give any indication they are very advanced. So we should not minimize the position of our Gurujan just because all these so-called popular devotees, they are so much popular. Okay, that is the point of this entire part 1, part 2 session. We have to discriminate, we should learn, and we should basically give first priority to our own Gurujan. And we should not minimize their position, and our obligation is towards them first and foremost. So whenever there is a conflict, then we have to filter it, we have to choose our own Gurujan. I mean, you may hear it from them, but don't assume things. Don't assume that just because someone is so extremely scholarly Sanskrit devotee, he can quote shlokas like anything, he can share Krishna Leelas like anything, does not make that devotee very advanced. As I said, that this is all a matter of practice. If you practice certain things, you follow the anyways, I think all these devotees, they're definitely following the regulative principles. So any sincere devotee who has taken initiation, they are following regulative principles, they practice certain things, and they become perfect in that if they have determination. So don't confuse practice for perfection or very advanced stages. Okay, advanced Vaishnavas, you can see them there, you can hear about them. You can only know them when you interact with them, or you hear it from seniors, when you personally see them. There are many aspects to that. So this is what the takeaway message of these 2 parts of the class.
Yes, Prabhuji, because I was feeling guilty that I couldn't. But yeah, definitely, I can hear the recording of the first part. So I felt like you said in your class about this thing. So Prabhuji, one more thing comes to mind is like, for example, if somebody dies in our family, right? So, we get upset and, we are like emotional about it and all that. Similarly, a person who's not close will not be affected, right? Other people will not be affected by it. I mean, because it's like they were not close and it's okay, like this happened, that happened. So similarly, in the context that, for the Guru Maharaj, like Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Ji, like there were some disciples of his who were very close to him. They were talking to him, connected to him. He was giving personal advice and all that, So how they must have got really more, upset when Maharaj left, rather than the other ones who would meet Maharaj once in a time, like that, right? So in a situation like this, when we see this, that more those people who are more who are closer are more got more upset, right? And I also think of, prayers of Kunti Maharani, and she says that, we should, Krishna help me that I can get detached to my family. Although, she was, her husband was not there and she raised all these children, her sons. And, like definitely attachment has to be there. She showed attachment from her husband's side also. So, so in that case, should we think that it's not very good to be attached to our Guru Maharaj so much so? Because if, our attachment is there, we're constantly hearing the lectures, and then if anything happens to the Guru, then we'll be very adversely affected and kind of brokenhearted. Is that a good thinking, or no? We should still keep the attachment, irrespective what will happen if the Guru goes away?
See, first of all, I would say that the closeness to a guru does not depend on the physical proximity. It all depends on how much you have pleased the guru. So Prabhupada said that one time he gave this analogy of a king, and he says that even a fly is very close to the king. The fly will come and it will try to disturb the king. And fly is very close. But what the fly is doing? The fly is basically disturbing the king, because the king is in the process of doing something, executing something, and then in the middle, the fly comes and starts disturbing. So similarly, a close associate of a guru, I mean, not associate, I would say a disciple of a guru, even if they are personal servants, we may disturb the guru if the disciple does not understand how to serve the guru. And that's why Prabhupada said that there are three categories of devotees: first class, second class, third class. So for three categories of disciples. First class, he said that the guru does not even have to mention anything. The disciple knows the heart of guru and he will execute the instruction of guru without saying. First class. So totally dependent on that disciple. The guru can totally depend on that disciple for service. Second class is the one you have to tell him, then he will do it. And the third class is someone who will, even after telling, will not do it. So these are three different types of disciples. And in Prabhupada's also Leela, we saw that those who were his personal servants, they left Krishna consciousness, they left ISKCON. But those who were following Prabhupada's instructions, they have taken wonderful roles in ISKCON now. They have achieved so much. So it is not about physical proximity, it is about, and even in the case of Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj also, what I have observed is Prabhupada had given a watch to Maharaj, a Rolex watch to Maharaj, and that watch, Maharaj, that's the only possession he had, and that he gave to one devotee who was not even from his personal servants circle. He gave it to, I think, Ved Priya Prabhu, and I don't know, he's one of the doctors of Maharaj, but he served Maharaj so much that Maharaj gave that watch to him, not to his personal servants also. So it all depends on your surrender to your guru. So that's the first thing. Second thing, you mentioned about Kunti Maharani's prayers about being detached from the material world or from the family. See, spiritual attachment and material attachment, there is a difference in that. When you are attached to your spiritual master spiritually, to your God brothers, to the devotees spiritually, that attachment is necessary for us to advance in Krishna consciousness. But that attachment should not become sentimental. That attachment comes with following the instructions of the Vaishnavas and serving them. If you only cry for them sentimentally, not doing anything, not becoming transformed after the disciplines of Guru, not commending yourself more, then that becomes a sentimental attachment. So, but even that attachment to anything related to spiritual thing is always recommended, always better than material attachment. So when Kunti Maharani is praying that I should get rid of all these attachments from my family members, all these Pandavas, they are Nitya Siddhas, they are pure devotees, eternal associate of the Lord. So why is Kunti Maharani praying like that? So actually our acharyas, they explain that when you come in course with associated with devotees, you get attached materially also to some degree, which means that you may like certain things about the devotee, some preferences are there. So you are basically thinking on your own terms, for your own enjoyment, for your own sense gratification. So you may become attached materially in the sense that you may become so attached to that person that you may sacrifice your spiritual principles. So that kind of attachment, and it may also lead you to some kind of distraction in your absorption in the Lord. So you may probably focus more on their, um, you know, like instead of focusing more on Krishna, observing more on Krishna, more on our services or qualities of the devotees connected with Krishna, you may become attached to their material bodies also, or material things also. So that kind of attachment she was praying that it should be done with, because see what you cannot be detached. The nature of the soul is to be active. In the spiritual world, are you going to be attached or detached? You are still having relationship with Krishna and all the devotees there. So there is no question of any kind of detachment. In the spiritual world, your so detachment in the sense that anything which is not favorable to Krishna consciousness, that we have to be detached from that. This is what detachment really means. But we have to get attached more and more to Krishna and his devotees. But it has to be spiritual also, because in the material world there are sadhakas. So there is a chance that we may be influenced by the modes of material nature, and our attachment may become deviated. It may become distracted by the modes of nature. So rather than that, we have to bring it to this Suddha Sattva platform. And that attachment can actually bring us more closer to the Lord, because then we want to serve the Lord more and more and serve the devotees more and more, like that. So I hope it is clear.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just wanted to ask you, you mentioned about service to Brijvasis is the ultimate. Do you mind elaborating a little on that?
Service to Brijvasis is the ultimate.
Even a fly or something like that.
Like you
okay.
said that the
Yeah,
essence of how can we.
This is in context with His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj mentioning that when you go to Vraj, you have to make sure that everyone around in Vraj is pleased, because Vrajvasis, they are supposed to be very dear to Krishna. Prabhupada also said that naturally they are in very advanced stage of Krishna consciousness, and that's why they don't have Guru also. So we are, anyways, Vrajvasi is just a example that Maharaj quoted. But who is real Vrajvasi? A real Vrajvasi is the one who has surrendered his life for pleasing Krishna and devotees. So anyone who does that is a Vrajvasi, technically. So in our ISKCON, we can say His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj was the best Vrajvasi, or Jayapadaka Maharaj, or Radhanath Swami Maharaj, or Loknath Swami Maharaj, Shivaram Maharaj, Bhanu Maharaj, whoever is dedicating their life, their mind, body, words for the pleasure of the Lord, they are all naturally the Vrajvasi. They may stay outside of Vraj. So in this context, Srila Gauragovind Swami Maharaj, he also one time he said that Kans was also living in Vraj, in Mathura. But what is the meaning of that kind of staying in Vraj? Because he was Asura. He had all the Asuric tendencies. So there may be people who may be staying in Vraj, but they may be Mayavadis, or they may be Asuric in their tendencies. They may be committing sinful activities in Dham. So what is important, we have to know who are Vrajvasis by their services, by their devotion, by their sadhana, like that, by their qualities. So service to devotees is the ultimate principle. This is what I meant to say. And Maharaj just gave example of Vraj because there was a discussion about the Vrajvasi. And discussion about being actually living in Vrindavan, being actually, you may be outside of Vrindavan, but your consciousness can be in Vrindavan when you are always thinking of the Lord, when you are chanting His name, when you are associating with devotees, when you are always thinking of serving the Lord and the devotees, then you are always in Vrindavan. So that way, I'm saying.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this nectarian class. And you mentioned about the point that how can we progress in our bhakti, like which is the best way. And now you explain about serving the Vrajavasis. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. If anybody has no question and a comment, we can end up the call here.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, I was thinking that it's so nice that Prabhuji always comes. Just a thought came to me Prabhuji always
just
comes
1
online
second.
and
I just have to go outside and come back 1 second.
yeah.
Okay, I'll wait for him.
So Prabhuji always comes online. We can always see Prabhuji. So I was
Mhm.
requesting if devotees can, when they ask question, if they can, be also visible. So like it'll be nice that the speaker can also see and hear.
Yes.
Like I'm going to get myself online. I don't know whether anyone can see me.
Yeah,
Mataji, I don't know why behind me the picture comes of the Radharani Charan. I don't know how that happens.
yeah, maybe
Any
phone, that is.
questions or comments? Final.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Yes. Thank you for the wonderful class. And we were, the Rupini Padma Mataji was requesting that since you are visible, so whoever is asking question, we can also open up our camera and so that you can see us. So
Yeah, of course,
that's,
please. That will be more intimate association. I mean,
yeah.
to meet personally is the best thing. But
Yeah, like
everyone
Prabhuji,
is
I'm also here. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. So I'm just wondering because I don't have any like picture at the back, but I'm not a computer person. But I don't know if I have. It's very nice. I have Radharani Charan behind me. But how this comes, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm very intrigued.
you are right at the feet of Radharani's.
Yeah.
How is it happening? I don't know. My background is not visible. So, but I don't know why that is showing. I'll have to see what is going on because, like
Okay, perfect.
I'm not even
You're always at the
like,
feet of Radharani.
Yeah. No need to see Mataji. It's a
okay.
perfect thing.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I was requesting that, our Krishna consciousness is so personal. It's on such a personal level that, since we can see you, we should also be, if it's possible, if we've had a bath, it doesn't matter how we are dressed because I'm generally in the morning, I take a quick bath and I'm wearing my t-shirt, my home clothes. So then if I go out, I wear suit or sari, whatever I have to wear. But if we are presentable, then we should come online to ask questions. So that way, it's more on a personal level with the speaker, because he is visible. And then I see sometimes when I'm asking, the other person is like, okay, only hearing, So I feel it's a little bit of disrespect from our side. So that's why I just mentioned this to Mataji. If it's okay, Mataji,
Yeah.
whoever
Yes,
asking question can come online and we can see the person and hear. And so this way we can also, like lose that fear. After we all have to preach, we have to follow His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's, footsteps because we've been hearing so much about Maharaj the whole week, different glorifications from Radhesham Prabhu, Amog Leela Prabhu. Then, there are so many left right now also. His disciples, every time I see the YouTube, there is someone. And there's so much to hear that, we also have to be in tune to the youth and come online and preach and, make us self-visible. So that way we can spread Srila Prabhupada's movement. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you for this suggestion, Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. All right.
So, just so pay obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and Prabhuji. Vanchagal Patarvyasya
Kripa Sindhu Eva Cha. Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Thank you all the devotees.
Ananda Koti
Pranam to all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Jai Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.